The one thing that jumped out at me when I looked at it is the first month is brutal, especially for a young quarterback who's not going to have a ton of time to practice in the offseason.
Yeah.
He's got to go on the road, his second and third game, to a couple pretty good offenses with good quarterbacks. He's got to open up with the Eagles at home. And then he's got Baltimore in that fourth week at home. Man, that's a brutal stretch there for that first month, in my opinion.
The first month is tough. For me, the real murderer's row is weeks 12 through 15 for the Skins. Starting with the game against Dallas on Thanksgiving.
Uh-huh.
Then you go to Pittsburgh. And then the Redskins go to San Francisco in Week 14, and then they come back home to FedEx to face
Seattle.
the Drab Hawks in Week 15. I mean, that is just a killer 4-game stretch for the Redskins. 3 road games, all against pretty good opponents, and then you come home and you get the always tough Seattle squad. I mean, that's some tough sledding there late in the season.
I think that looks tougher than what Jason's talking about because I see the Cardinals and the Browns in the first week.
I know,
but the road games.
This is an evergreen bit.
But does it matter, Jason, if there's no fans?
Of course. I think it does.
Well, you got to travel. I mean, travel always saps you. Think about when we travel somewhere, how now we're much older.
We're 100.
We're much older. We're not elite athletes, obviously. But we're tired when we travel.
But it's not like Arizona.
We're always tired.
It's not like Arizona and Cleveland are horrible. I think the one easy stretch is that 9, 10, 11 where you got the Giants at home, at Detroit, Cincy at home. That's the only stretch that I see that you could actually take advantage of.
Yeah, I like that, definitely.
I mean, they could, but having the Skins lost to the Giants every matchup in the last 2 years.
Yeah, of course. They can lose any of these games.
You can't just cherry pick and say, well, that's easy. It's easier relatively.
It's an easier stretch than the first month and the final month.
I swear to God that when they play these games has literally zero impact on me picking them. But it's fine. Like, I'm not going to go, oh, well, they just
We
played
don't
the
even
Eagles
know how many games they're going to play.
I know. Let's just assume they play them
They're
all.
going to play 16, Ricky. The NFL has done nothing but stay on schedule so far. Now, everything they've stayed on schedule for is off-the-field events. Obviously, free agency draft, schedule release.
Based on 2019 final records, the Redskins have the 5th easiest schedule in terms of opponents' win percentage.
Yeah, but I'd throw that out the window because we had J.P. Finley on yesterday. He was talking about a guy, I don't know who it was, and he rated it as the 3rd toughest.
Yeah, I don't know how he does that.
So it just depends on what you're looking at.
What was his criteria?
I don't know.
I mean, what could your criteria be more than
win percentage of last year?
I'm going to throw out the winning percentage from last year because some of these teams have different quarterbacks and they've got.
Of course, some will be better, some will be worse. But
Right.
the great sort of equalizer is what they all did last year.
And then you have to assume that these teams will be a little bit better with younger quarterbacks.
Or you could just go with my theory, which is always they're the Cardinals, they're the Browns, they're the Panthers, they're the Lions, they're the Bengals. I mean, those are just dubs.
And you know what those teams are saying? They're the Redskins.
I know, and they should.
Yeah.
And they should, and I don't begrudge them that. But you're always going to be the Lions to me, buddy. Sorry. You're always going to be the Bengals. I don't care what you do. You're always going to be the stinking Browns. I mean, that's never going to change in my lifetime. You could even sneak a win or a championship or something, which is laughable. But I mean, if you did, you're still the Browns. Mm-hmm. We're a heritage franchise. We got 3 of those big silly trophies over there, and that's never going to change. No matter how terrible the owner is, we had those 3 sillies.
Look, this is the defense you always give every time we look at the schedule. That's
how I look at it.
But they're going to lose.
I would love to hear.
They're going to lose the majority of these games for a reason.
It's fine.
Valdez, can you do me a favor at some point? I know this is a lot of extra work. Can you just give me a montage of like the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 post-schedule release days, and I want to hear how similar the conversation is.
Oh, it's all the same.
I might have it by the end of the show.
Really?
Listen, I'm not predicting a winning record. I think we're going to have a losing record, 6 or 7 wins. That's what I went last time. But I will always think that we're going to beat those teams. Now,
you always have that brashness.
Yeah, I mean, like, do we play Tampa? I mean, I know
Tampa's not on the schedule.
I mean, I know they're the sexy team, and I actually am intrigued by watching them, but they're Tampa, so I would always pick us against them. Right, Cakes?
Your file is so old.
My file is old, but it's just it's
Old
kind
and
of who
dusty.
they are.
Doug Williams isn't the quarterback anymore.
I know, but the way I look at it is you are who you are and who you've been through your entire tenure of your franchise. And I still think we're elite because we're in we got 3 of those big silly trophies, Cakes.
You don't think they're elite? That's ridiculous.
You're just kidding yourself now. You're doing a bit.
I'm predicting 6 or 7 wins, but I'm always going to put us a pedestal above those other teams.
Eric, so are the Patriots an automatic loss now?
Yeah.
No matter what? No matter who's
Yeah,
quarterback?
Just because they're the
At
Patriots.
this point, generally in my brain, I would be like, all right, they're the Patriots.
What if Jarrett Stidham is silly?
We still have
right,
Belichick.
Let's not go silly. What if he's just decent to pretty good? And
I don't know.
Belichick can coach him up.
Yeah, I can tell you right. I mean, it doesn't matter where, who. I mean, it doesn't matter who, but it doesn't matter actually the current quarterback or anything. It just matters. Well, they're the Browns. Of course, they're going to pick us against the Browns.
So last night when they released the schedules, I only watched about the first half hour. Did they go through every team's schedule and break it down, or were they just kind of bouncing around?
It was a 3-hour just down march. I didn't watch the whole thing.
Oh, okay.
From what I watched, they had like Lewis Riddick doing EB's bit, going down every single team's game by game, saying win, loss, win, loss.
Yeah, that's what we're doing at 8:20.